Welcome to the Bo Benson Show. If you like conspiracy theories, you like what's going on in the government, you like to learn about secret societies, you like to learn about Jehovah's Witnesses, this is the perfect channel for you. Please subscribe and make a comment. Welcome to the Bo Benson Show. I want to thank all you guys, and I'm going to give you guys a special treat because I like all of you guys. I am going to red pill you about the events that are going and taking place right now so that you don't have to spend 20 hours a day researching videos. You can have a general idea of what is going on and understanding the environment that is going on right now amongst your peers. With that being said, this is going to be funny and disturbing at the same time. Enjoy your pill, folks. So the first red pill that we're going to get, folks, is we're going to be talking about the lawsuits that have been brought up against Donald Trump in Georgia, because I think that's really important right now. So if you are familiar with Miss Fanny, and her coming into office was on a campaign that she was going to find the criminal activity that Donald Trump and his family members have done and bring them to justice. Well, what we ended up finding out is that, surprise, surprise, she's a liar. Not only did the team that was set up to investigate this, who are the people who are qualified to do this, said this is not true. There is no evidence of fraud like you're suggesting. She did not take that very well and decided to put her little sex partner as the lawyer over them, which technically wasn't legal and was a misuse of government funds because he wasn't qualified for this. Now, you may think that that's odd, but this is Georgia's district attorney is prosecuting Donald Trump, right? And now she is being removed from this because they found out not only did she put somebody in a position that shouldn't have been there, she was coercing that person who was supposed to be a neutral person, a neutral, individual, neutral party. She was having sex with him and was taking her sex partner and putting him in a position of control and authority and manipulating it with sex. Which is really interesting because this is completely illegal. And if it doesn't get any better than that, that individual which she did this with is already married. So she has been outed, and her own, this is the best part, her own employees have come out and said that she's committing government fraud. So now she's under investigation for committing fraud. So not only did she lie, did she having sex with somebody and then convincing that person to make things up about Donald Trump that are not true, but she just got caught doing all these things. Now, are you surprised that this person is a liar? Who's going to lie is going to steal? Obviously not. Now, what's going to happen to her? Because she's a Democrat, absolutely nothing. She will never be prosecuted. She'll never be held accountable. The most that's going to happen to her is that her claims are going to be dismissed in the court system. And what will probably happen is the media is going to act like that this didn't happen. But I want you guys to be aware, this is what happened, this is what's going on, this is the red pill of the reality about the supposed criminal activity that was going on with Donald Trump and his family. It was made up, it was fake, and she tried to use sex to coerce somebody into lying, and they got caught. So the other really important thing that I think people should be paying attention to is Nikki. So Nikki Haley is a Democrat that is claiming to be a Republican, and they refer to this kind of people as a rhino. And what that means is that this person is absolutely works for the Democrat Party, but is running as a Republican. And she tried to run as a presidential candidate. And if you notice that the media was acting like she was a big deal and that she was so influential and blah, blah, blah. She was number 3 on the candidates, and when she lost one of the elections to Donald Trump, she got like something like 20 points or something, and he got 60 or something ridiculous like that. Like, she's a nobody. LaVick, which was another candidate openly started mocking about where her finances came from and how nobody knows where this woman who has no businesses, no career, no nothing, somehow is a multimillionaire. And what had happened, and what they were pointing out, is that she works for the military industrial complexes. And that's why she's so pro-war, is because all her finances are associated with these companies. So when you go to war, she makes millions of dollars. So she's made millions upon millions of dollars off the Ukrainian war. And that's why she wants to continue aiding Ukraine, because she wants to continue making more money. So she's a fraud. Once they discussed this and showed this, Levik said this on the public stage. Nevada had a vote, and they removed Donald Trump from the ballot, okay, which is not legal. And what had happened is they did this. People are so aware that she's a fraud that 62.9% of people voted for a non-candidate over her. So she's out of the running completely. She's a joke, and she's a loser and a traitor to our country. These are the kind of things that are taking place, and these criminals and these scum of the earth are being outed it left and right now. Like, this is really good, and then this is what people need to see. And so a lot of the Benny Show is something I watch all the time. I'm sure if you know anything about politics, you know what the Benny Show is. But anyways, if you want real in-depth analysis, this is where you could go. This is one of the things that you can go and look up. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty funny. It's comical and that kind of thing. But you can see this is the non-candidate got 60% of the votes. And then Nikki got 33. Now, the thing that's more interesting is she didn't get 33 Republican votes. What had happened is the Democrats were so desperate. Democrats are going and registering and actually saying this and admitting to this. And this is the first time this has ever happened in history, is that the state they have these ballots that say if you're Republican or Democrat. And if you're switching from Democrat to Republican to vote for the Republican primary, they have never in the history of elections ran out of these switchings. So when you're switching from Democrat to Republican, they ran out and had to print more because so many Democrats were registering as a Republican and voting for her. This has never happened in the history of politics in the U.S. This is the first time. This is why this is another red pill that people need to swallow, which is really funny. And people noticed this. People were talking about this. It failed miserably. So Nikki is a traitor. She's a failure, and she's a loser, and she's a war criminal. So the other really, really big red pill is the January 6th garbage. So Donald Trump did not say any of the things the mainstream media is saying. The mainstream media is saying that he doesn't have presidential immunity, even if he did say the things they claimed he said, which he didn't. And what they did is they shut down his Facebook account and deleted his tweet. And then the media began saying that he said things that he never said. Now, he went on CNN and then he read his tweet and it went viral because they brought it back. Now, what that was showing is this was obviously a hit piece, and this is an attempt to mislead the public about Donald Trump and what he said. He never told anyone. He told people the exact opposite of what the media said. He said the election, he did say he believed the election was stolen, but we're going to behave peacefully, and then we're going to take care of this in the courts. And that's what he's been doing. He did not tell people to riot or any of this other crazy stuff that they say. And this is why CNN and other organizations like that are saying that Trump doesn't have presidential immunity. The courts ruled that he did, and they're telling the public that they didn't. This is a really common tactic that we've seen with Donald Trump, is the media will say things that are completely and utterly false to give a narrative against the previous president, when in actuality it's the exact opposite. They have done this so much that people don't even trust news stations. One of the things that's happened with news stations, because news stations are owned by 6 individuals, every single one of them in the U.S. So there's a monopoly on them. And all 6 of those people that own those news stations, they work for George Soros. And so those individuals who work for George Soros, which is part of the World Economic Forum, Those people are the ones that are pushing all these weird agendas like no police, transgendering children without their parents, rights, giving cancer-causing drugs to kids, and all these other controversial medical treatments, is how I'm going to say it. Those people who are for this and believe in that are the same people paying these people to do this. So I want you guys to know that this was thrown out in the court. The January 6th stuff is not true. He didn't do any of those things. He didn't say any of these things. And this is how we know it. So Tucker Carlson got a hold of images from the actual footage of inside. And you can see that the police were working with some of the protesters that were throwing the government over. And we know that this was set up. And the other thing we know is that the chief of police came out and said that this was a setup as well on Tucker Carlson. And they have all said that Nancy Pelosi set this up and that this was an attempt to have Donald Trump arrested for the January 6th insurrection because they didn't want him to run because they knew that they're going to lose. So this was a false narrative that absolutely blew up in their face. And you got to remember, the Democrat Party was trying to make it so it was illegal for you and I to see the actual footage versus their claims. So you can see the Democrats are lying again. And the problem about people like the Democrats and Nancy Pelosi is these people are stupid. They're very, very stupid. They have very little respect for you and me, and they think that we're dumb and we're ignorant. And when I say that, I really do mean that. Like, they think that we're so stupid and so ignorant that we're going to believe everything that CNN tells us and that we're not going to believe the actual real footage. And so they, to this day, try to tell us that that footage isn't real. So here's some other information that's really interesting. So the videos that were released, because you gotta remember, this is the White House. There are cameras at every single corner of this place. Everything is documented. There's cameras all over, right? This is the headquarters of the United States. James here is a producer that was hired by Nancy Pelosi to create a false narrative story about the insurrection of January 6th. They are so stupid that they created a documentary. She is actually recorded by the cameras, and her daughter was there making a video with her, and she sat there lying and saying stuff and pretending that things were taking place that she didn't know. We now know the chief of police said that Nancy Pelosi refused to have cops there, removed services which were Donald Trump asked for because she had the authority to do this. Donald Trump couldn't bring the officers there, which he wanted, because they had Nancy Pelosi had brought Black Lives Matter and Antifa members and dressed them up as Donald Trump supporters, and they started raiding and tearing the gates apart. And there's a man that was involved in this named Ray Epps, and Ray Epps is an FBI informant. And they put his face as one of these Donald Trump people that was part of the insurrection leaders by accident, right? And then they retracted it like the next day once they realized what they had done, but they're already fucked up. And now everyone knows who he is and what he is. And people have recorded him telling people to open the gate and then, storm the White House and do all this stupid stuff that people had done. This guy was paid to make a documentary about this before the event took place, just so you know. And that's how we know. Like, this is what I'm saying, is they made a documentary. They paid and had agents there. The FBI was put by Congress, by the Republican Party, congressmen, and asked about what was the FBI doing, why were they doing these things? And people recorded FBI agents, and now the police have come out, and the police chief has come out and said, yes, this was a setup, this was a fraud, this completely was created, and it was a hoax created by internal sources within the United States government, FBI, CIA, under the leadership of Nancy Pelosi. So this is another attempt. So technically, there was January 6th was a. So the interesting thing, what I was trying to say is that Nancy Pelosi, technically, if you really look at the facts and what all the information that came out, this insurrection business Donald Trump didn't do anything. How is he doing an insurrection against himself? He was the acting president at the time. Nancy Pelosi is a traitor and tried committing an insurrection against Donald Trump's regime, which was the acting regime of the United States government at the time. By committing this and doing the things that she did and making these false narratives, she actually was involved in an insurrection. She is the insurrectionist. And so this has all come out, and this is why she stepped down. And then if you guys also had heard the weird thing about her husband being blooded by a random guy, then the media said that was a Donald Trump supporter. It was not. It was a male gay prostitute. And when that came out that he was a Democrat gay prostitute, all of a sudden they were like, oh yeah, let's not talk about this. So, I mean, it's just absolutely insane, the things that Democrats are doing. And the other thing is, like, for an example, the rapper Killer Mike was asked if he would endorse Biden. He said no. When he was at the Emmys, he was arrested for not endorsing Biden. So this has not gone over very well with the black vote. Democrats have been counting on the black vote. Democrats, because of everything that's gone on, everything they've lied about, everything they've done to the black community, BLM being a fraudulent, nonprofit organization which is run by Democrats. That's the other thing. Did you guys know that Black Lives Matter, which is BLM Incorporated, they're the owner of the starters, were started by Soros, who are Democrat donors. The money that was supposed to go to the black community was given to Democrats. So your Democrats, senators, congressmen, and people running where Black Lives Matter's money went to. All those white Democrats. And Biden has opened up the border and allowed 8.1 million people to come through. Now, this is the reason blacks are so upset with Biden is because they're being replaced. So if you go to Democrat sanctuary, states, which a lot of these are black communities, American black communities, their schools, their playgrounds, all these infrastructure for the black community has been shut down and given to immigrants. And if reporters take photos of this or report this, you'll be arrested on the spot. Yeah. That's what Democrats are doing. And the reason they're doing this is because the black vote has shifted away from the Democrats. And they know this, and they are planning on replacing the black voters with illegal immigrants. And they plan on giving illegal immigrants the right to vote so that they can swing the vote back in their favor by using illegals who don't belong here. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to show it to you right now.
Non-citizens have not been eligible to vote in New York or, as far as I know, in any other state since the 19th century.
That's not true. The New York City Council voted in December to allow this. It begins January 9, 2023. Cities in Vermont and Maryland already allow this, and similar measures are under consideration in Illinois, Maine, and Massachusetts right now.
If the gentleman will yield?
Yes.
I believe those are considerations of allowing votes in municipal elections only.
Right, but thank you. That's the point. Everybody wants to know at home, why would they allow this? Guys, they're allowing it because they're going to turn them into voters. They already are doing this in New York City, largest city in America, and this is the plan of our friends on this side to turn all the illegals into voters. That's it, folks. That's what's going on. See the video, you see droves of people, 2.4 million people coming over the border illegally. The president allowing, the Democrats in charge of Congress are allowing it. The deal is they're going to turn them into voters. You just heard it. They don't have any problem with that. They celebrate it. Here's the deal. We have a problem with it. The Constitution has a problem with it. American elections should be decided by American citizens. That's why we're so upset, because our constituents are frightened that we are losing our country. We're losing our security, or losing our sovereignty, because we're going to allow people from 160 different countries around the world to come in here and decide our elections. That's it. Here it is on record. You all heard it.
Non-citizens,
If President Trump came here to the South Bronx, would you attend the rally?
Of course, I would want to meet Trump. I want to shake his hand.
He's the only president that I see that can ever make America great again. He's capable of doing that.
I would love to go to a rally with Donald Trump come, because I'm a big Donald Trump supporter, and I will support him 100%.
Oh, yeah, definitely we're going to show him love. We're going to show him a lot of love, and, you know, like they do in other states. We definitely need to see Trump here.
There's nothing but love for Donald Trump here in the South Bronx, the North Bronx, the East Bronx, and the West Bronx.
So tell me.
We want Trump to come back, please, bro. Biden, get out of here, bro. I would come to the rally and support Trump, because the Bronx need a change, and we need somebody that's really going to help this community.
I would definitely come to a Trump rally in the South Bronx. I like him.
You do?
Yes.
Yes, I will come to a rally if President Trump was to come to the Bronx, and I also would bring other people to come too and support him.
Would Joe Biden get a warm reception if he came to the Bronx?
No, he wouldn't have, and I'll make sure of that.
So the Democrat Party is the most dangerous thing we have ever seen to the integrity of our court systems. They stole the election and put Biden there as a puppet. I mean, nobody can listen to Biden and tell me that that guy knows what's going on and that he's running the country. That's ridiculous. That guy is so senile and so out of it that he can't even talk right.
A little clip of your president this week, just when you thought he couldn't get any more ridiculous.
There's been a response from there's been a response from the opposition, but yes, I'm sorry.
That was where he couldn't remember anything. He later then talked about having spoken to the French President Mitterrand, who died in 1996, and then he forgot the name of Hamas. Jimmy, what is going on?
Now, in Biden's defense, Pierce, the press has been asking him some really tough questions lately, like, what is your name? What do you do for a living? This is a really sad thing to watch. The worst part about the Biden clip you showed in regards to Hamas is a reporter actually helps him out. At one point, he goes, the opposition, and the reporter goes, Hamas, meaning, incredible. Speed it up, buddy. We don't want to be all day.
We love it. Play that again.
But can we please do it at 0.5 or 0.75?
Yeah, Rob, slow it down a little bit. Yeah, it's perfect.
We'll teach Donald Trump a valuable lesson. Don't mess with the women in America unless you want to get the benefit.
By the way, don't mess with the women in America unless you want to get the benefit.
We have one that might even be better. Rob, will you
mess with the women in America unless you want to get the benefit?
We have one that might even be better. Rob, will you find Biden at the brewery yesterday?
You already have this?
You know, here. Is
this a real clip?
Brew beer. It is
30 hours ago.
Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder why it's
They're laughing. What are you laughing at, bro? I want that audience when I do stand up. They laugh at anything.
You have any idea what he just said? And by the way, all of his advisors are on the right, and he walks to the left and starts milling around the brewing equipment.
What's wrong with that?
Bro,
maybe he's going for a walk by himself to kind of reflect.
So just in case you think the statements that I made about the border are not correct by somehow that 8 million people coming through is not a problem, I'm going to show you the person who is in charge of the border and what they say in front of Congress.
My career in immigration enforcement in 1984 as a Border Patrol agent. I've worked for 6 presidents up to Donald Trump. Every president I've ever worked for took some steps to secure the border because they understood you can't have strong national security if we don't have border security. And even President Obama gave me the Presidential Rank Award, highest award available. Because what was I doing at the time? I was locating and deporting people in the country illegally. But President Biden is the first president in the history of this nation that I know of who came in office and unsecured the border on purpose. So we went from the most secure border of my lifetime, and it's not just my opinion. I've done this for 34 years. Anybody can go to cbp.gov and look at the data. And within months, we went from the most secure border to historic illegal immigration, numbers we've never seen before. And it's not because it's seasonal. It's not because of climate change. It's not because of Trump. This is by design. It's a shell game. They move people, they move thousands to the port of entry so they can claim less illegal entries between the port of entries, but it's failed. Because November, December, we saw record amounts of crossings on the border, over 300,000. They're coming and staying because of Biden's promises. 1.9 million gotaways. That statement alone should convince anybody on either side, 1.9 million gotaways, the border is not secure. It's ridiculous to claim so. I started my career in immigration enforcement.
So I hope that my red pill means something to you guys and that you guys stop for a second, because most of you, I'm assuming, are probably aware of these issues. I really think that a vast majority of ex-members of the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses have woken up to what cults look like, and they can see it, they can hear it, and they can see the connections between these different cults and their behavior, because they all act the same. The Democrats themselves are a cult. Transgender, BLM, these are cults. Every single one of these groups does three things. Number one, doomsday, lie, and separate you from your loved ones. Every single cult does those three things. They will lie uncontrollably. They will convince you that there is some dilemma that they can fix and that they're the only ones. And then they're going to separate you from your country and your family. They're going to make sure that you are dependent on them. Every cult does this. When you see this, you hear this, you feel this in your bones, I've warned you, and I expect you to warn others. For a long time, we've sat on the side and you have let Democrats say and do whatever they wanted because we didn't want to offend them. They have lost their mind. They have given up on freedom. They have given up on their rights. And it's up to you to keep our children safe. I want you to think about the border situation that we just told you about. Every single one of those people who came through the border is only coming through the border with the permission from the cartels. The cartels control the borders. Every single little girl who comes through there is victimized by those people. If you vote for Democrats or if you support Democrat policies, you're hurting those children. The United States cannot take in the entire population of the whole freaking world. That's unrealistic. That is going to collapse the economy. It's on purpose too. They want to cause a situation that is untenable, that is out of control, where everyone becomes dependent on the government. Think about that. 8 million people are in those little states now. New York, all those places. The Americans that live there, the blacks that live there, their schools are shut down. Their football fields for the kids are shut down. Their gyms are shut down. Their police stations are partially shut down. Their airports are partially shut down to house all these illegal immigrants. That means the kids who are living there in these New York, these poverty-stricken environments, are getting no education. What group of people says that education doesn't matter? Yeah, every one of us who is a member of Jehovah's Witnesses was told that you don't need education. Well, apparently blacks don't need education either. How can you not see that they're the same? I'm sorry, they act the same, they talk the same, they have the same belief systems because they are the same. I hope you understand why I'm red pilling you all. I want you guys to look at it from this perspective. A lot of us obsess over the organization and we think that it's just evil incarnate, right? And that we need to fight it and that we need to direct all our energy at Watchtower to stop its evil, to help the people there and to help the children especially. Your energy is definitely directed at a cause and it's worthy and it's great. But the problem is Watchtower is a small part of an evil mechanism. That evil mechanism, you should be focusing on the heart of the mechanism. And the heart of the mechanism is organized crime from our leaders down. If you want to stop crime like this, because even if you were successful and you shut down Watchtower, Scientology, Mormonism, whatever cult group is out there is just going to take its place. If we can get leadership like Donald Trump and like some of the Republican Party who are fighting against criminals like this, that's what we need. You need to get the infrastructure under control. We need to get our court systems back. We need to get our school systems back. And we definitely need to get our law enforcement back from these criminal organizations. Think about this for a second. They told you that an insurrection was taking place. Never did. They told you that Donald Trump was a Russian asset, and they're still saying that to this day. We know 100% because Hillary Clinton admitted that she created the dossier, and we also know that the head of the FBI signed off on it, took a $500,000 bribe from Hillary Clinton, pocketed that money, created that fake dossier, sent it out as if it was real. And that little weasel that we showed you earlier, you know, the guy that was trying to sell us that the immigrants are not really going to be used as voters when they've already started the process. That little Adam Schiff is his name. Now, a lot of you guys don't know this, and I'm just going to throw this out there. Did you know that he went before Congress and said that there was no evidence whatsoever against Donald Trump in the Russian collusion? There was no actual proof. Because when he went before them, before the committee that was set up, if he lied to the committee why he was there under oath, he would be held legally responsible. So when he was legally responsible, that piece of shit said, there is no proof of this, there is no actual real accusations. He walked out, literally walked out of that room, went to the press, and told them the exact opposite. But nothing will happen to him because it's not illegal to lie to the press, but it would be illegal to lie when you're inside that judicial committee. That's the kind of California garbage I am tired of. I am so sick and tired of California. I hate California with every ounce of my being. California is a shithole. The governors, the senators, they're all garbage. They are the most crooked and nastiest and evilest people on the planet. They are actually pushing communism onto the American people. And I know a lot of people are like, that's not true. That's just being eccentric. People from China and people from North Korea are telling you this is happening and warning you. And here we are sitting there and trying to act like this isn't true. I am telling you right now, this is the biggest red pill of them all. The Democrat Party is a communist party. They are trying to bring socialism and communism into the United States through the Democrat Party. That is China's goal.
Speaking of North Korea, every room that we have the portraits of Kim dictators. And the first thing that my teacher taught me was, look at your dear leader. That's your real father, not your biological father. If he says something unroyal to the government, you need to come tell me. So governments would punish the parents. And now in America, I hear these things like teachers would literally teaching the kids saying, your parents are not safe if they don't validate your feelings. And trying to separate the children from the family. It is the same exact tactic that North Korea uses to separate people. In North Korea, every room that we have the portraits of Kim dictators.
Now, I know that you're watching this stuff and it's making you feel uncomfortable and creepy, and that's what red pills do, because this is reality. This is the truth. Watchtower tried to create automatons. That's what the Democrats were doing. That's what Watchtower's job was. They wanted to create a subservient race for the New World Order. It failed. It failed miserably. So now Plan B is we're going to get as many foreigners as we can into the United States to ruin the United States, to shut it down, and then we're going to make it communist by using the Democrat Party. That's the goal. They want to lower the population and they want to remove freedom because the United States is the only place on the face of the planet where you have true freedom. And freedom is the number one enemy of dictators. Watchtower's governing body is a dictatorship. Democrat Party and the associated companies with them are the same thing. They are all communist. Watchtower is run like communism. Democrat Party is run like communism. Black Lives Matter is run like communism. The Chinese are funding these people. Do you think that the Chinese government is funding all these people and all these organizations for no reason? How absurd is that to think that? We're talking about the third most powerful country on the planet, and you think that they have no goal to be number one when they teach in their own country that Chinese people are the superior race and that everyone else is a second-class citizen? Come on, guys. Wake up. We need to stop greedy, compromised people. Do not vote for Democrats. Do not support Democrat policies. And be open and bold to your companies, your friends, your family. Don't sit in the corner and hide and say, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to be shunned. That time is over. You need to get up. You need to fight. And you need to save your family, save your kids, and save yourself from these sick, twisted, evil individuals. Nobody's going to do it for you. It's up to you. Your voice is the most powerful weapon that exists. Use it.
All the Jehovah's Witnesses out there, all the Democrats out there, we are not going to give up without a fight. I'm telling you that right now. We are strong, we are bold, and we are going to stand up to you. And I am not going to bend the knee to child molesters and sex offenders. Democrats, governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, I say this to you. You are my enemy, and I will put you down.